What I think we are trying to do now is to get the basic framework of the notion of a green economy established. And I think it rests on certain principles. First of all, it accepts the point that Mr. Bristol made that it has to be an efficient economy. And efficient not only in the sense of economic efficiency, but social, cultural, political, and all those dimensions. So it's a comprehensive attempt to try to deal and fit with the development of Guyana. The second point we need to make is that this policy is really embedded, as the national budget pointed out by the Minister of Finance, in our Constitution. Article 36, I think, states that we have to sustainably extract our wealth, our natural wealth, for the benefit of current and future generations. So it recognizes the intergenerational dimension that was first promulgated going back to Mr. Hoyt in the Irocrama Forest proposal, and Mr. Jagdio and Mr. Ramatar in the LCDF. The next point that we need to make is that because it has to be economically efficient, we cannot have a green economy without considering the macroeconomic effects, how the economy moves over time. And we therefore emphasize in the development of the green economy the macroeconomic stabilization of the country. The two must run concurrently. If not, it will create total disarray. The third point that we emphasize is that the impact of oil and gas to come will be tremendous. We expect that it will affect Guyana's GDP by about 2,000%. That's an enormous difference. So we have to begin to think on a new scale and level of operation of this economy. It's no longer, the petty-poor economy that we've had in the past. And in that concept, we have to begin to think how creatively we can use the potential abundance of government revenue, government wealth that will be flowing to the country as a result of bringing oil and gas to the stream. We also have to look at it not only from the point of view of the fact that we're going to get fossil fuels. We have, in terms of considering our sustainable development, still pursue a mix of renewable energy. And we are emphasizing that we also are relatively well endowed with other types of energy resources, including solar, including wind, including, as Professor Lorraine said, wood residues, rice husks, bagasse from the sugar estates and that type of thing. So we're situating the petroleum find in the context of an equally similar find of a mix of renewable energy resources. And for that purpose, there's a project going on right now, which the Minister might reference later on energy options for the expansion of Guyana. And we're in the process of moving towards the creation of a national energy policy. All of these have to be taken into account. If we do that, we also have to say that since the LCDS and the early efforts focus on the forest, and the new find focuses offshore, that we have to think of the integration of the country. So we have to bring the coast, and we have to bring the hinterland and offshore into one spatial area that we're exploiting as part of Guyana. So this is a different level of conception of the issues that we are embracing. We have to recognize that the climate occurrences that we talk about, that we talk so much about in terms of Guyana, vary across the country. And we have information here. I might not need to give it to you now, but we have information that the effects of the climate change, if we have business as usual, on Guyana will be quite substantial. But even more important, the impacts on the southern part of Guyana will be more negative than any other part. So these are things that we have to take into account. So we cannot see climate change as being in isolation from the spatial cohesion of the country and recognition of this variation that will occur across the country, and the need that if we're going to have harmonious development, to ensure we build it into all the processes that we have. We also have to deal with fundamental natural hazards that our country face. We have a problem of small size, which we can't get rid of, even though we might try to get integration at the level of the CARICOM. But CARICOM itself is a small region, so we still have to deal with the problem of small size. Coming with that, we have to deal with problems of proneness to natural disasters, which Guyana, as you know, is faced with. We also have fragile ecosystems, which everybody knows here as part and parcel of what they do. We also have to recognize that the fragile ecosystems require considerable investments to make them sustainable and to work for the benefit of future Guyanese. In this process, we have to recognize that science and technology is an essential and necessary component of any attempt to go forward. But we interpret science and technology in the broadest sense as including not only hard sciences, but also what you might call the soft institutional sciences and practices for management and the way in which we deal with our resources. So, for example, something like the forest, which we consider to be a precious natural resource, its potential for being kept in place relies not only on what we can discover in terms of the forest science of how we, as you would know, Mr. Chairman, the forest science of how we grow, we accept the sustainable growth of trees, but sustainable management policies in the forest. This movement of planted forests, which is something that we have never tried, but we have within our ambition now, a proposal by that guy who was accepted to do a model attempt at farming to establish a planted forest farm to sell the services in markets of the world. So we have to think of those types of things. So in that sense, the transition from the green economy is a stage where we might say that when we started with EOCRAMA, we were at Environmental Policy 1. When we moved to LCDS 1, where Mr. Davio took the lead, we were at LCDS 2. When Mr. Ramataj took over, and he tried to advance it after 2013 in this new version of the LCDS, we had Environmental Policy 3. But now we're taking a qualitative leap and going to Environmental Policy 4, which encapsulates the notion of a green economy. But we're not bounded by that because we expect the next generation after us to talk about the Environmental Policy 5, when new science and new technology comes into play and we have new capabilities and new possibilities. So we have to see this as a dynamic concept. We don't have to hold on to the past because we invested in the past. So we're not seeing green economy as something that we're advocating because it's something of this government. At least that's not how they've asked me to do it. What they said, they want something to link the past with the future. So it's a pivotal concept, trying to link what took place before with where we likely want to go in the future. And when we started this meeting, we started out by saying that the purpose of this committee is a national purpose, not the APNU, our coalition, and PPP. So it's in that same vein, I think, the whole idea of a green economy is being articulated and being urged, at least for the point of view where I have a part to play in it. Thank you.